What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Grind Fantasy official live stream for this NBA 5-game slate. I give DJ privileges for 2 seconds, and this is what he turns on.
You're kidding me, man? You're gonna throw me on the bus like that?
Yeah. What is this? This is Chasing Love by Nocturne.
You guys know when I stream by myself, I give you the best music. It's literally silence because every time I try to play music, it doesn't work, Matt. So, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and complain about the music you provide everybody here on YouTube. Because literally every time I do, I'm sitting there and I'm like, nice, this music's great. Like, it's so much better than that techno shit Matt always plays. And then I realize that nothing is actually playing. So
sometimes like, okay, the music is actually very good for non-copyrighted music. And then other times, like that one, I don't know what's going on. So I do apologize for anybody who tuned out of the stream because of the music. But let's go ahead and do this, TJ. 5 games. Should be relatively quick.
OG's out.
OG is out, yes. And let's go game by game. Right now, we only have the pending injury news from Orlando, TJ. So everything's solidified, including that Anunoby news that we just got. So let's go ahead and bounce around. Let's start with Philly first, because Philly has the intriguing injury news right now. Without Shake Milton, it actually does give some minute boosts, some usage boosts across the board. Let's take a look there first. They're in the highest over-under as well, so it will have a lot of chalk in that game, TJ. So I want to start there. Starting specifically with the Philly side, Danny Green showing 23.1% ownership, Maxey at 20 minutes showing 18.3% ownership, and then the rest of the gang. Do you have any interest here in cash?
I do, Matt. I think my interest kind of relies in guys like Seth Curry and Danny Green, those cheaper guys that are going to see a little bit more of an uptick here with Milton being ruled out. Kind of Korkmaz too a little bit, honestly, at 3,700. So yeah, when we look with Milton off the floor, Matt, Seth Curry gets a little bit here of a usage bump. He's a 0.82 fantasy point per minute, so nothing too crazy. But at 4,700, I do like him to get you at least 25 DraftKings points. I have him pegged for 25.5 right now. And that's really not taking into consideration the matchup that we do have, and it is the highest over under, like you alluded to on the slate. So I do like the cheap play there in Seth Curry. I know you're going to have a lot of love for your guy, Danny Green, at 3,900, projected at 28 minutes, Matt, a 0.71 fantasy point per minute without Milton, having pegged for 20 DraftKings points. If he can get hot and hit some threes, like, he can easily pay off that price tag. Korkmaz is another guy that I'm interested here. I have Korkmaz at 23 minutes. What do you have, Matt?
I actually have him at 27, and I also have Danny Green at 33. So Danny Green looks to be playing a decent amount of minutes as well.
Okay, so I'm going to put Danny Green to 30. I'm going to put Korkmaz to 24, and you have Maxey at 20?
I have Maxey at 20 and Korkmaz at 27.
All right, I'm going to put Maxey at 18. So Korkmaz at 27. I'm going to put Korkmaz at 25. So Korkmaz at 25, Matt, 0.91 fantasy point per minute with Milton off the floor. So I do like him as a cheap piece at 3,700. And then Maxey also at 3,200 if I have him pegged at 18 minutes. So if you want to call 18 to 20, somewhere in that, that range. 3.3% usage bump with no Milton, which is the highest usage bump on the squad. 1.07 fantasy point per minute off the bench. I have him pegged for 20 DraftKings points on the dot. So I do like him again as a cheap piece here. We talked about him in potential blowout as well. He would obviously get the run in the fourth quarter if this game were to blow out. Looks like it is going to be somewhat of a competitive game. Looks like Philly currently 5.5-point road favorite. So Matt, I do have a lot of interest here from these guys, more so the cheap guys. And then a guy like Joel Embiid, I have him at 2% on Roto. I think that's
there's no way that's right.
I don't know what you have him at Fantasy Cruncher, but
it's actually low here too.
What do you have, Matt?
5.8.
Okay, so load me up on some Joel Embiid at 10.8 in turn. 1.57 fantasy point per minute, 33% usage rate with no Milton. Doesn't really affect him too much, but that fantasy point per minute output there for Embiid is pretty high, and a really good matchup going down low against Canner. So I do like Joel Embiid here. I like Canner on the other side of the ball too, but we'll get to that. But yeah, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Korkmaz, Maxey, I do like them all as cheap pieces. And I feel like you're going to fill in here maybe on some Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris a little bit.
Yeah, $8,300 just passes the eye test, TJ. Ben Simmons playing projected 35 minutes right now. Looks like they're updating the minutes right now, so that's kind of ironic because we were just talking about it. So Danny Green did go down to 29 minutes. Maxey now at 17. Seth Curry now at 30. And who was the one guy that you were? Oh, it was Korkmaz, 24.
Okay, so yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, that's about right.
That sounds a lot better.
Yeah, so I have a lot of love for these guys in general. I think one of these guys should have a ceiling game, similar to what we saw last night in Milwaukee. As long as this does stay competitive, it's a very high over/under, and one of these guys should have a great game tonight. So load up on these studs and GPPs. They're all very under-owned right now, but these value guys are definitely showing some ownership. So do you have any cash locks from the 76ers, TJ?
Sorry, somebody just left me a voicemail. What's worse than getting a voicemail from a random number?
Yeah,
there's nothing, right?
I already know what it is. It's about student loans for me. That's what it always
probably is. They're like, hey, where are your student loans, TJ? Because you haven't paid them, asshole. No, it's AT&T DirecTV to let me know that my account qualified for 50% off. In order to obtain this discount, I have to kindly call them back and use the caller ID that I see, and to have a great day. Okay, sweet guys. So I just hit the jackpot basically.
You want to pause the stream?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna finally upgrade from my Taco Bell internet, and I'm gonna go grab some AT&T's internet, I guess. No, so Matt, cash locks. I mean, I really wish
I'm trying to bait you into saying his name.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say Danny Green. But I do. He's gonna carry ownership, so I don't. I kind of like Korkmaz a little bit more than Danny Green, honestly.
Just because he's a more productive of a player.
I'll have some Philly exposure for sure, but I'm just not sure as to. I don't have a lock currently.
Yeah.
Let's progress throughout the stream, and potentially I might get there. But
all right.
Yeah, I will have some interest for sure.
Let's switch over to the other side of the ball then with Portland again in another pace-up spot here. Damian Lillard, $9,800, very cheap, TJ. On the surface, looks like a great play. 24.4% ownership. Canner, 13.7%. Not in the best matchup. And a lot of these role players. So do you have any interest in cash here for Portland?
Yeah, I do like Dame at 9,800. Again, a home dog here, 5.5-point home dogs. So Dame sub 10K is something that does interest me. I just think that price tag is a little too cheap. You know, we still have CJ out, we still have McCollum out, and obviously Nurkic as well. So I just think that's a little bit too cheap there. He gets a 1.2% usage bump with those guys off the floor, 1.41 fantasy point per minute. So I have him pegged for 51.4 DraftKings points. So I do like Dame. If you're getting him in cash, I really don't hate it. Canner, you mentioned the tough matchup against Embiid. 1.3 fantasy point per minute career average against Embiid. So he can bang down low with Embiid. We did see this matchup too only a week ago against Philly where he was 7K, played 34 minutes and ended up with 42 DraftKings points. So I like him. Probably more of a tournament play there for me, Matt. I don't think I would go there in cash. But Super Draft, we did talk about, and we will get to that. We do like his multiplier there a little bit over there at Super Draft.
I love his multiplier.
Yep. So that's something that intrigues me. But yeah, I think besides Dame, like for cash, I don't really have anybody else that I'm thinking about. Derrick Jones Jr. would be a tournament play there for me at 3,800 as long as he starts again. But yeah, it would just be Dame if I'm going anywhere here in cash.
Yep, I completely agree with everything you just said. All these guys have great ceiling potential just because of the high over/under. Damian Lillard passes the eye test, $9,800, and if they're going to keep it close, which they should, it's going to be because of Damian Lillard and maybe Canner. So I like Canner as well. Let's go down the line. TJ, have you done Toronto yet? Because they just came out with the Nobi news.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Okay. Do you want to go there? Or do you want to wait?
Yeah, we can wait a little bit. We can get back to it.
Okay. Then let's go to the Miami-Houston game. Let's go to the very first game on the slate. Miami is without Bradley, Dragic, and Silva. So I feel like we say this every single stream now, TJ, because this guy, Jimmy Butler, has been absolutely crushing it. At $8,400, he's hit value in literally every single one of his games dating back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. I mean, how can you hate him now? People are finally starting to catch up to it. 14.5%, and he does benefit against a very bad defense. Is he cash viable in this matchup, TJ?
I mean, Matt, I definitely don't hate Jimmy, especially at this price tag. It's a really good matchup against Houston at 8,400. I think you can go there. With all these guys that you just mentioned that are off the floor still, mostly looking at a guy like Dragic and Avery Bradley, We're looking at Jimmy Butler on my sheet. Where are you? 1.33 fantasy point per minute, 26.5% usage rate, which is the highest on the team. So I have him pegged right now for 45 DraftKings points. So I think that's a really safe number for him. If this game can stay competitive against Houston, Matt, I definitely think he can outscore that. I think he's capable of getting you 50 plus. So I do like Jimmy Butler here. I think it's a really good spot against Houston. So
Yep.
I do think he is cash viable, honestly, tonight.
Yeah, and a lot of other GPP options. Duncan Robinson, a shooter,
Yep.
33 minutes. Bam Adebayo, you always love him. $8,600. He got a price decrease at 13.5% ownership. Tyler Hero, another great player, 33 minutes. And then your boy Kendrick Nunn. Yes, I'm going to call him your boy. 5.8K, 32 minutes. I mean, all these guys are GPP options. Which one's your favorite, TJ?
A lot of people are going to Duncan Robinson, and Matt, coming off a game where he shot 0 for 7 against, hasn't really particularly been shooting the ball well in the month right here in February. But I do think he has some upside at 4,500, playing 30 plus minutes against Houston. So I don't hate him. I've been pretty high on Kelly Olynyk these last couple games, and he's been right around value, and he's played some really good minutes here for Miami. So I think I would like him again at 5K. I think that is a little bit too cheap here for him. Prices come down a little bit since that first game against the Knicks where he was 5,200, and he keeps getting right around that 28-ish mark. So I think he's ripe, ready for a 35 plus DraftKings points night. So I do like me some Kelly Olynyk. I think he'd be my tournament play here. But Jimmy Butler is my favorite play for Miami.
Yep, completely agree with everything you just said. A lot of sneaky options in Miami. I feel like one of these guys could easily break the slate, especially against this very soft defense in Houston. Switching over to Houston, we're just gonna. You guys are gonna hate us for even talking about him at this point because he's been burning everybody in terms of chalk because he's been very high on the past two contests. $6,900 now, and he's still playing the same minutes with the same injuries off the court, TJ. And now nobody wants to play him. So it's 7% ownership. Is DeMarcus Cousins cash viable along with John Wall?
Oh, well, I obviously love John Wall. John Wall is going to be a cash lock for me tonight at 700, Matt. With or without Oladipo, and Oladipo is good to go. So yes, I do like John Wall at 71. That is too cheap. It's a really tough matchup, obviously, going up against Miami. But even still, with all these guys off the floor, no Harden, and then we have, or not all these guys, with Harden gone and then Christian Wood off the floor. Wall gets a 6% usage bump. Matt, he's a 1.22 fantasy point per minute and a 36.3% usage rate, and that is alongside Oladipo. So I have him pegged right now for 42.7 DraftKings points. So I really do like John Wall carrying some ownership. Think it makes sense to me. I think you can go to Boogie. Tough matchup down low against Bam, Kelly Olynyk as well. So at 6,900, he's not really popping on the sheet, Matt. 1.29 fantasy point per minute, 35 DraftKings points is what I have him pegged for. So I virtually have him hitting value for you.
Yep.
I think the upside is there. I don't know if I'll go there. I avoided him against Charlotte. I did take him against the Pelicans. So that was, I hit the nail on the head against Charlotte. It was a good fade for me there. I didn't have any use. I didn't have any exposure to him in tournaments. And then the Pelicans, I was really overweight on him.
Right.
Smoke. So, I got burned by him. So I am outraged with. I was going to say enraged. I am outraged with Boogie right now. But at 6,900, Matt, I do think you can go there. I just don't know if I'm going to.
Yeah. How about Victor Oladipo at 7.3% ownership? He's now back, $7,800, and he is confirmed to be playing. It seems like he doesn't rate very well on our sheet, but we kind of have to use our intuition here. $7,800 is very cheap for him. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good with John Wall there. Yeah.
Yep, John Wall does eat into his projection. I was asking a rhetorical question. Let's go ahead and move on, TJ.
You're rhetorical.
Do you want to talk about Indiana, Detroit? Is it even worth it? I guess it is, right? Because of these price tags. Sabonis at $8,800, showing some ownership at 19.7% ownership. Brogdon has been letting everybody down, especially last night, and probably the best matchup you'll see all season long. And then they hung up 94 points. What was up with that? I think they'll score more points in this matchup tonight against Detroit, honestly. Miles Turner at 8.7% ownership. So do you have any interest here in Indiana against Detroit?
Yeah, I mean, Matt, we're really high on Sabonis and Brogdon. They kind of just gave us some meh performances against Brooklyn. You alluded to them only scoring 14 points, which is something I did not expect. And it's not like they burnt you too bad. Like Sabonis was 8,600 and got you 42 DraftKings points. Brogdon was 7,400, got you 33 DraftKings points. So it wasn't what you expected, but I guess it could have been worse. I feel like that was kind of like their floor. So just not a really good night for Indiana as a whole. I wouldn't hate going back to both of these guys, honestly, Matt, here in Indiana against Detroit. I feel like a lot of people are kind of off of them now because of what they saw against Brooklyn. But if we can get a more competitive game against Detroit in a game where they're favored, I do like both Sabonis and Brogdon at 8,800 and 7,500 respectively. And, we still have to consider that they are without LeVert. Obviously, Oladipo is gone and TJ Warren is off the floor. So when looking at Sabonis, 2% usage bump, 1.27 fantasy points per minute. And then Brogdon, 1.6% usage bump, 1.09 fantasy points per minute. Both of them around a 28% usage rate.
How much do you have Sabonis for in terms of points?
46.63. And then I have Brogdon at 38.76.
All right, just want to make sure I get those right so I don't screw up on Super Draft. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, so I do think they're viable, Matt. They're carrying a little bit of ownership. I wouldn't have back to the well. Again, it is a back-to-back. They did last night in Brooklyn, now traveling to Detroit.
Yeah.
But I still do think they're a little bit on the cheaper side as to where they should be. So I'm not going to judge them off last night. I'm just going to chalk it up as an off game and kind of go from there. And I do like them both.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be relatively competitive, TJ. Only a 3-point spread. I was actually surprised, but you're factoring in the back-to-back like you alluded to, and Detroit is not coming off a back-to-back. Speaking of Detroit, we have Jeremy Grant showing 22.4% ownership. He's still below the 8K tag, 7.4K right now. That's just very low for Jeremy Grant based on what he's been doing this season, especially the past 2 games. I think I honestly think Jeremy Grant is very cash viable, TJ, just because of that price tag and what he's been doing as of late. Blake Griffin, I think, burned a lot of people last time he played. He was relatively chalk, so now he's up at 5.3K. Are you going to be playing somebody like Blake Griffin tonight, TJ?
I mean, he virtually got you value. I was off of him against Brooklyn. A lot of people were on him. I really understand it. He did get he virtually hit value. He was 5K. He played 31 minutes, and he got 0.25 DraftKings points. So I don't think if you didn't cash, 2 nights ago, it was because of Blake Griffin. He did what he had to do, just didn't really smash for you. But yeah, Jeremy Grant, Matt, is somebody that I'm looking to lock in cash tonight.
That's what she said.
Excuse me. When we take off Killian Hayes, Ja Okafor, and then obviously Derrick Rose, who's been traded to the Knicks, he gets a little bit of a usage bump there. 1.18 fantasy point per minute, 27% usage rate, highest on the team. 7,400, Matt, for a guy that could play 38 minutes in a competitive game. I have pegged for 41.4 DraftKings points, so a 5.6 on our sheet. So I do like Grant. I do think he's cash viable. This game is competitive again. I do think he can play 38 and potentially 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So I really do like him against Indiana, and he's probably going to make it into my one line.
Yep, I completely agree with you. That price tag is just dirty. What they're doing to him, $7,400, way too cheap. Do you want to move on to these other 2 games where I think you were computing Toronto? Are you done with them yet?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to – nothing's really
changed. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. Especially against Boston, with it being a good defensive matchup, or bad defensive matchup, rather, for Toronto. Okay. I agree, but yes, I'm sorry. Boucher, 26.5 projected minutes right now. We have Lowry at 35, Siakam at 35. Does anybody stand out to you in terms of their price tags? Because Lowry has a very low price tag still at $7,300, which a lot of people were quick to hate on him last game, off to a slow start, but then ended up doing very well. Do you want to take a stab at anybody on this team?
Yeah, Lowry was my pick against Washington, and a lot of people were throwing jabs after the first quarter, but I didn't hear anybody talking at the game when he was 7,300 and hit for 41.5 DraftKings points. So yeah, no, I do like Lowry. I think he's a little cheap. He's somebody that's burned the Celtics in the past, so I definitely don't hate him, Matt. More of a tournament play. I think if I'm going anywhere, it's probably going to be Chris Boucher at 6K. Excuse me. Given the matchup against the Celtics, who are so piss poor against bigs, even with Tristan Thompson, the acquisition, over the offseason, I'm dying. I really do like Boucher. He's showing 9% ownership, Matt, so he's probably somebody that I'm going to be overweight on in terms of tournaments. We got Aaron Baines coming back to Boston. If you guys want to talk about narratives here. No, I don't like Baines. I do like Boucher, though, at 6K. Tournament play, probably my favorite one here from Toronto. I have some interest in Lowry, obviously, at 7,300. Again, somebody that has torched us in the past, and we have no Marcus Smart, obviously. And then I will have some interest there in Van Vliet. Siakam's going to get his lunch money taken by both Tatum and JB. So make sure you full fade Siakam.
Okay. Bold statement there. And TJ, just an FYI, every single time that you're talking, I mute my mic and I just cough. You can go back and watch it if you don't believe me.
I've done the same thing. I've done it 3 times.
Yeah.
I've done it 3 times.
I haven't even noticed. That's funny. So we're just, you guys are just watching us die on stream. So that's funny. Not funny, but Kind of funny. All right, moving on to Boston. So with Boston, we have Marcus Smart still out, TJ. Jaylen Brown, definitely cash viable according to the ownership, just because I guess he's cheaper than Jason Tatum. I said this before. He's been producing just as good as Jason Tatum, going on throughout the season. At 25.2% ownership, he's going to be cash viable. 5.6 point per dollar value right now. Kemba Walker, also very cheap at 6.5K. Where are you looking in terms of your Boston Celtics?
Yeah, I love JB, man, at 7,700. I think that price tag is still really disrespectful. The only thing that sucks is that Brad Stevens was quoted earlier today talking about Jaylen Brown dealing with tendonitis in his left knee. So I hate that because he missed 2 games because of his knee, and then he played against Utah 2 nights ago and played 37 minutes, and he told Brad Stevens that it was bothering him. So regardless, he's going to gut it out. As long as he's playing, he's going to continue to play and play hard. His mid-range jumper this year, Matt, it's DeMar DeRozan-esque.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely incredible. So yes, I do like JB at 7,700. I think he's going to be a cash lock for me. Again, I think that's way too cheap. With no Marcus Smart on the floor, he's a 1.29 fantasy point per minute, 30% usage rate. So I have him pegged for 46 DraftKings points right now. So I do like him. I have some interest in Kemba, but talk about a guy who just hasn't been able to find his shot since coming back. Shot 6 of
he's still
32
shooting
in his last 2 games. Yeah, he's not afraid to shoot. That is for certain. So I do like taking some stabs there at Kemba. I don't know if I'll get him in cash, but I do think it is a little cheaper at 60. I think he is a little bit cheaper at 6,500. No one going to Tatum, so probably going to be a really big tournament play for me at 8,900. I have some interest in Tice too at 4,900. So those top 4 studs there in Tatum, JB, Kemba, and Tice are the guys that I'm looking at. Tristan Thompson actually also, Matt, with Robert Williams into the mix, who is sitting tonight, gets a 1.3% usage bump at a 0.98 fantasy point per minute, currently pegged at 26 minutes. So I actually have some interest there too. So I think those starting 5 in Tatum, JB, Kemba, Tice, and TT, I have interest in all of them, but Jaylen Brown's going to be my favorite play in terms of cash.
Yep, completely agree with you, TJ. Jaylen Brown at 25.2% ownership and is just very easy to get to. I also see a lot of mid-range options tonight, TJ, including John Wall, Jaylen Brown, which now it's starting to make sense that Joel Embiid's ownership, being so low. Yeah, all these mid-range options are now popping. And not only that, TJ, we didn't even talk about Vucevic, which we are about to do right now. That's going to take up the center ownership off the floor
always
here.
Does.
Yep, always does. Yeah, he's been on an absolute tear. 9.4K, the highest owned guy on the slate. Let's move on to the Orlando. Right now, we're still pending the injury news, and yes, this will break the slate, assuming it doesn't come out until about an hour before that game does tip off, because there's a ton of pending injury news. Fournier, Michael Carter Williams, Cole Anthony, and then Aminu now. So all those guys can definitely shake up the picture of this team, and a very high over-under, TJ, the second highest on the slate, 223 when you compare it to the rest of the games. So this is a headache right now, but Vucevic, I think, is going to be a lock regardless. Do you agree with that?
Yep.
30.5%.
Yep. Going up against Golden State, really good matchup. Obviously, they're lacking with big still, even with Draymond playing at center. They have no Looney. They have Wiseman. I don't think they have a guy tonight that can cover Vooch. So, yes, love Vooch. The rest of the pitcher, really unclear about, Matt. Cole Anthony exited the game against Portland, and it was Frank Mason that got the start in his for the second half. As his replacement. And Matt, he played 20 minutes in that second half against Portland. So if Cole Anthony does sit again tonight with the shoulder, Frank Mason's going to be a lock for me at 4K. But that is yet to be seen if Cole Anthony is going to be good to go, if Fournier is going to be good to go, who missed last game also against Chicago. Michael Carter Williams is going to be back in the mix tonight, it's looking like. I thought is he still a game time decision?
Yes.
Okay, he's upgraded to questionable. I thought he was probable, excuse me. Okay, so he's still questionable. So we're pending Aminu, Cole Anthony, Michael Carter Williams, Evan Fournier, and we have Aaron Gordon out. The biggest news, obviously, is going to be keeping an eye on Cole Anthony and Fournier. If they both sit, Frank Mason will be a lock for me. Obviously, Vooch is already a lock, but I think those are the 2 places that I would go. I think I'd have some interest there in Terrence Ross as well if these guys both sit in Fournier and Cole Anthony. But this is something we're going to have to monitor, Matt.
For
And I
sure.
think it opens up some great late night pivots.
Absolutely does, and I think that's a great strategy, TJ, because if anybody's ruled out, and I mean like 1-2 people even for these guys, I'm going to be attacking this team probably the most aggressively, more so than Philly in the last game, because all this is going to open up a ton of usage. And like you're alluding to, Frank Mason, if he's really going to play 30 plus minutes again, he's going to be an automatic lock for me in a very high paced matchup. So absolutely love this team to attack, and I think it's going to be a great strategy, TJ, to hold off on at least a couple of your lineups so that you can make late night pivots to Orlando. Last but not least, let's talk about the very last team that we have not covered yet. Go ahead.
I just want to read a quick. We got a quick question in the YouTube that really caught my eye, and it was, what was it? They said, what would you pay to include Big Baby Davis in your lineup tonight? So for those of you who don't know, Glenn Davis was an old Boston Celtic, and it looks like A/Z is in some sort of time capsule where he wants to go back in time and play Big Baby Davis. But AZ, to answer that, I feel like Big Baby Davis tonight would probably be around 4K. And with the given injuries, I'd highly consider playing him in cash, but probably more of a tournament play on a night like tonight for Big Baby Davis if we were to go back in time.
That's a great question. Thank you for the breakdown. Yep. All right, let's move on to Golden State here. Golden State is having some ownership, TJ. Andrew Wiggins, 6.2K, 28% trash. Kelly Oubre, 18.6% ownership at 6.4K. Steph Curry averages a nice little 1.52 fantasy points per minute. I think that's right. 35 minutes, 14.1% ownership. And then Draymond Green's been absolutely killing it, with the exception of maybe last game, but even then he almost had value. So, TJ, what's your take on this team?
I think Draymond's still probably going to be my favorite play. I think they're really going to need him against Vooch, Matt. So that's probably where I would go at 6,800. A little confused as to the ownership on a guy like Wiggins. I think it's him or Oubre, night in or night out. One of those guys is going to have the better game. I don't think you're going to see a night where they both excel. And more often than not, it has been Oubre. So at a $200 price discrepancy between the two, I think I'd rather go with Oubre. I think he has a way higher ceiling. I think Wiggins potentially has a little bit of a safer floor, but even still, like, I don't know if I have interest there. I would be afraid, especially if Cole Anthony and Fournier sit, that this game blows out. I would still be rostering Vooch because I still think he can get you value in 28 minutes against this Golden State team. But in terms of the other side of the ball, when we are fixating on State, I think Draymond would be my favorite play at 6,800. Steph at 5% ownership, Matt. Like, sign me up in tournaments again. The guy's not carrying ownership. So I do like him if this game stays competitive. But again, there's so much to be unseen because we are still penning that Orlando news, and I think that's
huge. Yep, and we probably won't get that news until the slate does lock, unfortunately, guys. So tonight would be a good night to sign up for Patreon, $20 a month. We will be in the Discord to break down our favorite plays once those guys are ruled out. All right, TJ, we've covered the entire slate, so let's bring it all together. Yep.
All right, I'm going
let's thanks guys for tuning in. Do you want to talk about Super Draft real quick?
Yes, we definitely can talk about Super Draft real quick.
Yeah, so let me just tell you guys a backstory. First of all, if you don't know, we are an affiliate of Super Draft. Okay, so we have a great relationship with them. This was a recent contract signing, I think a week or two ago now, TJ, about a week ago. And we've had a lot of what am I 2 years? That's 2 years ago. We've had a lot of signups so far. A lot of people using our code, and it's not even a code; it's a link. If you guys want to sign up with the link, you get a 50% match up to $500. It's a slow drip format. Let me explain that to you. Every time you play, more money goes into your account. So they want you to play. They're not just going to give you $500, watch you bail. That's not something that they like to watch you guys do, or else it would be a flawed system, right? So if you guys sign up using our link, you guys get a slow drip, 50% up to $500. Last night, TJ, I used our projections straight up, the ones that we include on Patreon, and smashed. Literally got in the top 10%. I didn't even do anything special. I just picked the top projected guys based on the multiplier. What Super Draft is it's a no salary format. You pick all the players, but each one of those guys has a multiplier. So that's all it is. It's very simple. You pick players. No sharks, not as many anyway. Yes, there's still sharks, but not as many. And it was very easy to cash in. I made a good amount of money, TJ. So that's what I have to say about Super Draft. Sorry if I stole your thunder. I know you wanted to talk about it too.
No, I was just going to talk about some specific plays for any of our Super Draft guys out there. At the guard position tonight, Matt, I really do like Jay at a 1.25 multiplier. So he's somebody I'm interested in. A guy like John Wall also getting a 1.4 times multiplier is somebody that I'm also interested in. So those are two guards that I like. In terms of forwards, for some reason, I can't get to it. There we go, TJ. Learn how to work things. In terms of forwards, Matt, where were you? Where were you? Where were you? Ben Simmons, 1.25 multiplier. I really do like
he's
that.
at the top
I
of my
think
board.
that's something. Yep. Chris Boucher, 1.45 multiplier. I also have some interest there. Draymond Green, 1.6 times multiplier. Definitely have some interest there in Draymond. And then in terms of the center position, Matt, Joel Embiid currently not getting a multiplier, but we still do like him. Obviously, like
Power
Vooch
forward
at a
eligible.
1 point. Yep, exactly. Power forward eligible, which is huge. I have some interest in Kelly Olynyk at a 1.65 multiplier, and then Boogie, 1.7 times
Yep,
multiplier.
everybody
Sign me up
hates
there.
him.
Yep. So those are some of the plays that I do like here for Super Draft, including Tristan Thompson, 1.85 multiplier. So if you guys are not on Super Draft, give it a shot. It's really fun.
Very easy too. So love taking people's money, right, TJ? And that's what we do here.
That's my favorite thing.
Let's get to questions now, and then we'll bring it all together and go over a cash core, and then we'll end the stream. So let's go to questions in the Discord chat, our main priority. Oh, wow. We got 13. Awesome. New messages. Nobi out. Yes, thank you very much. Wall. Fred Van Vliet, Brown, Grant, Tice, Duncan Robinson, Green, Covington, small GPP. Make sure that's more chalky. There's a lot of low-owned guys in there. Last piece in cash, $5,100. Olynyk question mark, Seth Curry. $5,100. I think it's in the util spot.
I'd go Seth Curry.
Seth Curry, I can agree with that. Well, Olynyk's a great spot too, though. Those are both good options.
I said I was high on Kelly, but I think Seth's probably the safer cash play.
Yeah, he has a very high ceiling tonight. What's your favorite forwards for Super Draft? So I think we just went over that, TJ. So that's awesome.
Yep.
Glad you guys are asking questions about Super Draft. Best guard for $4,500. Let's see. I think. Don't make me say his name.
Best guard for $4,500.
Yep.
Don't say it. I would probably say Duncan Robinson. You can't say Danny Green.
I can't. That's too cheap.
So. He doesn't have guard.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yep, you're right. Yeah, I guess Duncan Robinson not a good spot to be in though. I don't like Duncan Robinson that much. Anyway, what's your favorite value plays on DK, TJ? Favorite value plays tonight?
Favorite value plays.
Now I can say his name.
Okay. My favorite value plays tonight, Matt, would be. We're getting a lot of people asking about Dennis Smith Jr. I'm not playing him. If you want to take a chance, go ahead. 3K. 15 minutes projected. So yeah, if you're feeling froggy, go ahead and try and leap. I like Tyrese Maxey, Matt, at 3,200. I like him as a punt tournament play. I have some interest in Korkmaz as well.
Yep.
I'm not going to say Danny Green, but he's probably going to shoot the lights out of the ball. So I'll let you say that.
Yep.
I have some interest in Ennis at 4,200, depending on the injuries, and then Duncan Robinson at 4,500.
I like Danny Green and also Korkmaz. I think Philly's just a great team to target in general, TJ, for value tonight.
Wait, I feel like I'm missing somebody.
You look so concentrated right now. Are you in pain or are you concentrated? I'm concerned.
I need glasses.
Okay.
I'm also eating a lifesaver.
Oh.
Huh? Am I chewing loud? Was I chewing loud?
No, I didn't hear it.
Man, it just said I was chewing loud. I don't know.
Let's see. The way my build is falling. I have $6,100 left. Would you go Plumlee or Boucher straight up in cash, TJ? Boucher, yeah. I just hate Boucher because his minutes are so volatile, and I know he's such a good play tonight. It's so tough for me to land on somebody like that in cash. But yeah, I do like Boucher in general. Bam or Tobias, TJ, straight up. That's tough. I'd say Bam. Tobias. I'm gonna say Tobias, more upside, I think, just with the high over under. But yeah, Bam's a great option as well. How do you guys like Toronto? Norman Powell from Toronto. How do you feel?
I feel like Norman Powell has just been really good with OG off the so the price tag's really appropriate for him at 6,700. It's a little too rich for my blood, especially tonight against the Celtics, but I don't hate him as a tournament play, especially at the ownership that he is showing.
Okay. Bacon or Ross? And he's not happy about it, Roy. With an emoji, it's just like a stone cold neutral face. Bacon or Ross?
I'd go Terrence Ross.
Terrence Ross, Horford or Horford. Hey, just got here. Favorite pay-ups today? I know there's a lot of guys in consideration. TJ, who's your favorite pay-ups? It's going to be Vucevic, right?
Yep. Vucevic and Dame probably would be my two right now.
Okay, I can agree with that. I'll throw Steph Curry. No, I'll throw Joel Embiid. I think Joel Embiid has a great matchup tonight.
Yeah, if you can get up to him.
Yep. Cash, Wall, Korkmaz, Brown, Grant, Vooch, Kemba, Tice, Thibault, Tice, and no, Tice is the only low-owned guy. I like the lineup overall though. Any love for Bay? Nope. Could you drop the super draft link, please? We have it in multiple places in Squared. We have it here in the YouTube description, and we also have it in the premium chat if you go over to the list of sponsors. Yep, and if you just click on it, it will take you right to the app download. Very easy. All right, that's it.
That's it?
That's all I have. It was only 13 questions.
Let's see. Okay,
you look like you're dying.
My eyes, dude. When my eyes start to my eyes get really dry, they start to hurt. And I'm also exhausted, so can't keep them open. You should have seen me driving to work this morning. I was like half asleep. What are we thinking? Vooch and Curry or Embiid and Dame? I would go Vooch and Curry if you're going cash. Matt, that's tough actually. Liam, it's so tough when people ask us to choose between guys that are all like expensive and so good because on any given night, either one of those guys can go off. I would prefer Vooch and Dame if that is an option, honestly. I like Vooch more than Embiid, and I like Dame more than Curry in terms of cash. So if you can make that happen, I feel like you might have the possibility to do so. Like it up, people. Yes, thank you, Tommy. OG out. Yes, thank you, Hudson. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Aaron. Pissed because I never got Marco said, okay, he missed the no. Mark, I think we got the notification. Should be good.
Yeah, and also TJ, I want to update. There's a lot of YouTubers having issues with that, so it's not just us.
Okay, so it's not just us. Okay, Larry, if y'all got burned by Isaiah Roby last night, comment like the video. Thank you. Yeah, Isaiah Roby.
We get 1 million likes. Nice.
Hey, Hannah and Jonathan, music was horrible. Yes, that was from Matt's personal collection. Those are his favorite songs.
That's the music I sleep with.
Yep. We got a lineup here from Tej. Are you copying my name? Tej? Tej, for me, people spell it Teej. So I don't know if you're Tej, but what's up? We got a lineup from Tej. I'm going to call him Tej. Wright, Walker, Trent, Hero, Jeremy Grant, Danny Green, Sabonis, Tobias Harris, and Canner. If that's for tournaments, I like that. If that's for cash, I don't like that. Swapped off him. Good call. You show no minutes for Seth Curry on your file. Matt, do you have no minutes for Seth Curry?
He didn't, but he will be updated. He has minutes updated.
Okay. Matt, would you like to explain the difference between cash and tournaments?
Not really. Yes, cash. You double up your money
don't
when
feel dumb, Brandon.
Huh?
He said he doesn't want to feel dumb asking. Don't feel dumb.
Oh, yeah, don't feel dumb. No. 50-50s and double ups. If you put in $5, you get $10 back, right? Because it's doubling up your money. So if all you're looking to do is beat 50% of the field, whereas GPPs, you're looking to beat the top 25%, but you're rewarded better for how you finish in that contest. Let's say you get first place and the prize pool is $100,000. You might take away $10,000, $20,000 by getting first place. Those are called tournaments, GPPs. Those are my preferred option, my preferred way to play. I think TJ's preferred way to play. And we also really highly recommend playing small GPPs, less than 100 people, so that you can get a good ROI just by beating a couple people here and there. It's not as hard to do that when you're as opposed to entering a contest with 100,000 people in it, and then it's really like playing the lottery at that point.
Right. Yep. Thank you, Matt. Brandon, don't ever feel dumb for asking questions like that, man. Everybody's trying to learn here and become better DFS players, so happy to answer that question. Pretty sure AT&T. Yeah, I'm not gonna call AT&T back, guys. That's not gonna happen. Dame or Steph in cash? That was 2 straight questions. I'm going Dame. That's my preference. It's a higher over under. I think it's going to be a more competitive game. So give me Dame at home as at home dog going up against Philly. I'll take Dame. Who's the cheap value tonight? Dennis Smith Jr. tournaments. Yeah, Matt. No, I'm not going to do it. You can take a stab at him if you want because he is 3K, obviously making his debut. But I'm all set there. Is Simmons a good play versus Portland tonight? I know Matt's really high on him.
He's a good play.
I think I like him. I think I like him a little bit more over there on Super Draft.
I love him on Super Draft. Yeah.
But I don't hate it. I think he's going to be a tournament play. I wouldn't go there in cash.
One of those stars on Philly will have a ceiling game. It's just a matter of who and choosing them right. It's going to be between Ben Simmons and Embiid or Tobias Harris. One of those guys will snap. Mark my words.
Okay. Nate asked about Thompson. Yeah, I did mention TT. I do like him as a tournament play tonight with no Robert Williams. Max number of Philly players for tournaments, Matt. I probably
Sorry,
say
I was about to cough. No, there it
probably
goes.
say 2.
Yes, for big tournaments 2.
Yeah, I think if you're playing massive ones, you can go to 3 if you want. But if you're playing a more smaller condensed GPP, I would go 2. Norm Powell is 6,800 on FanDuel Dim. Yeah, I think that price tag honestly is appropriate for him with no OG. Bring as a list brow. Bring as a list brow. Huh.
Love it.
Which player picks is the best gamble tonight?
Love it.
So I think the best picks to gamble on for the gambles tonight would be Vooch,
I'd say
Jaylen
red.
Brown, and John Wall.
I'd say
Those are my 3
100
favorite
on
players.
red. Yeah.
Grant got his vaccination today for COVID. Congratulations,
Nice. I wish
Grant.
I
You are
was
stronger than Matt because
Okay.
you didn't get it and Matt has it.
Okay.
Tatum going off against the Raptors. I would love that. Curry in tournaments, definitely. Dennis Smith, Maxey, Mason, viable, cheap values, or what? Yes, definitely like Maxey. I'm a little bullish on Dennis Smith. And obviously, if Cole Anthony sits, Frank Mason's going to be a lock. Top 2 studs to have in a tournament lineup, Matt. I'd probably go Embiid and Curry. They're virtually showing no ownership. I think they could both have some pretty big games. So I would say Joel Embiid and Steph Curry. Pay up for the 2 studs, man. That's going to be very different. Like that. A lot of Dennis Smith crazies in here. Yes, Kale, I agree. I don't know if I pronounced your name right. I'm so sorry. Amanda, how do you pronounce Kayel? Is that Kale? Matt's not paying attention. He's just Kale.
Danny Green is the best pay down option on the slate.
Okay. Jaylen Brown or Butler. I like JB for
Danny
cash. I like
Green.
Butler for tournaments. Now we got a lineup here: Frank Mason, Maxey, Danny Green, Draymond Green, Vooch, Steph Curry, Butler.
It's not
and
even close.
I don't hate that. Favorite value locks for tonight. Tommy, we will get to that at the end of the stream. Dennis ain't playing no more than 60 minutes. I agree with you, Kale. Jimmy 50, I agree with you again, Kale. Anyone like DeLon Wright tonight? Not really for me tonight. I could go there in tournaments. I know he's obviously been playing good, look good against the Lakers and Brooklyn, but I don't know if I'm going to get there, unfortunately. I do have interest in Jeremy Grant, though. What is the best play that will help me pivot to Frank Mason if I go to him? I'm struggling with that strategy.
Danny Green.
So we have, sure, yeah. I mean, I guess you can go Danny Green, honestly, if you want to. You can put Danny Green in there and then have a pivot ready. I would say Danny Green or, I'd like to say Duncan Robinson, but obviously that's not viable.
Is Smush Parker cash viable? Holy cow. How do you guys feel? Smush Parker, the guy who doesn't play anymore?
Smush Parker.
Yeah, from the Lakers. What is wrong with you guys? Dude, we haven't gotten any notifications for a while. Oh, let me reactivate them. There we go.
Matt,
There's
Cousins
one.
or Canner at center for FanDuel?
Cousins or Canner, is that what you said?
Yep.
I'd say Canner. I think Canner's going to be a good play tonight.
Okay. I think I agree with you. Kale is right. The name like the vegetable or Superman. Love it. Kemba, Ennis is the play. Best value play for Jock Market. Ooh, Bob, I absolutely hammered Jock Market.
Yeah, how did that go?
On my guy Kawhi. I won $45 off of just Kawhi.
Nice.
It was good.
Good job.
Yeah, it was good. So tonight, if I'm bringing up Jock Market, let's see what we have here because I haven't pulled it up yet. Embiid
Guys,
obviously being the number one
code
guy.
right up there above TJ's head.
But my fat,
right
skinny, balding head. I do like JB here showing at number 12 right now.
Ooh.
I like Lowry at 20. And I'll give you one more.
I'm going to actually look now.
Do they have Frank Mason in here? Yeah, I would go Frank Mason at 49 and just hope he's out.
By the way, tomorrow is our official Jock Market sponsored stream, so we will be talking about it for about 30 minutes tomorrow.
Yep. Milkman wants to know if his grandma is cash viable tonight. So Milkman, I saw grandma is projected at 22 minutes at 4K. I think she can hit value, but definitely be more of a tournament play for me.
Dude.
I just get worried about a potential blowout, and I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about her hip. So yeah, let's just be cautious of that.
No way. I'd player. No way. Wouldn't get you a couple points.
Sabonis, Grant, Vooch,
Stupidest
Brown.
comment
Fill
I've
in the
ever
rest for cash. Yeah, Dave, we can't do that. I'm sorry, man, but that's a good start. It's a good start. Get some cheap value in there. I do like that start. Jones Jr., Korkmaz, Danny Green. Pick one. Matt's gonna say Danny Green. I like Korkmaz. Danny Green's gonna start, so I guess Danny Green's probably your safer play.
Wait, what don't you like about Danny Green?
He just doesn't do it for me, dude. I mean,
he's averaging a sensational 0.71 fantasy points per minute on the court.
He's just very 3-point dependent, and when he doesn't hit shots, he doesn't hit value. If he comes out and buries threes, like he can easily pay off that price tag at 3,900. But
I will not tolerate the Danny Green in the chat. If you guys are hating on Danny Green,
all right, I'll go Danny Green with Matt. We'll say Danny Green.
I will not take it.
Someone said I'm going to hell because of the pop tip. I'm sorry, guys. We're all just having fun. Look, don't ask me about Grandma tonight in cash if you don't want to get bodied. That's plain and simple. Who else do we have? Danny Green, a hit and miss. Guys, we'll get to the cash locks. We're gonna close with it. Very shortly. Jimmy Butler or Brown? We keep getting that question. I like JB in cash. I like Butler in tournaments.
You guys are ticking me off.
Cork Danny Green or Sterling Brown in tournaments? I think it's gonna be Korkmaz or Danny Green. I don't like Sterling Brown's minutes with Wall and Vic both playing. What?
Danny Green is projected to play 31 minutes tonight. The only time that he's played over 30 minutes, he's gotten 28 and 31. The only 2 times he's played over 30 minutes. The only 2 times he's smashed value. Look at the chart. I'm not lying. In the high-paced matchup, if you guys roast Danny Green one more time, just look at the board.
Well,
only time he's ever played over 30 minutes, twice. And he's slam value, 31-28.
Well,
look at it.
You're lying.
Okay, 32 way down there, and 36. He's still got the 22.25 that's hitting value. Same thing with 15.5. That's just under value.
Yeah, but Matt, in those games, he hit his 3-pointers. That's what he is dependent on.
Yeah, and it's a high over/under. He's going to be shooting a lot of shots.
All right. I mean, I think we got to get off now. We're getting a lot of people torn between Danny Green right now. Everyone's fired up. Matt's fired up. Look how red Matt just got. That's the most color I've seen have in Matt's face in.
Well, that might be the fever.
Yeah, it's probably the fever. People talking Danny Green's dog water. He is dog water. He's a trash bag. Absolute trash bag. No, I think he can hit some threes. It's a good.
You guys are ticking me
Portland.
off.
All right, Matt, hold on. I got something for you. Ready? Okay, so when I'm looking at YouTube right now, obviously. So we have Danny Green hit value, 4.9 value, right? Then he took 3 games off. He was trash. Boom, 7.2 value against the Lakers. Took 2 games off. Boom, 6.9 against Charlotte.
I can move on. I can keep going further down. Look at this.
He took 3 games off, Matt. Do we think tonight's Danny Green's night against Portland?
Yes.
You guys just triggered Matt. You guys just absolutely
61.5 points. Name another guy that's $3,000.
I just want to let you know. I want to read these comments because this is incredible. And Matt just beat COVID. Just took Danny Green talk. Make the deal, TJ. Matt shaves his head. I'd love that. Matt is so tilted. He's so tilted. Tilted AF. He's so tilted, boys. Let's get Matt. Relax, Matthew. Danny Green should cook. Matt, everybody's going at your skull, and
Danny Green should cook. No, see, this guy gets it.
It's incredible.
And it's a good matchup. See, Jericho knows what's up. He's played COD with us. He knows he's on the same wavelength as both of us.
No, I think it could happen.
I'm just saying.
No, he's
won a lot of
shots. He bangs his threes. All right, Matt, let's get to our cash locks.
All right, yeah, let's do it and then get off. I have to update Patreon, so that's good. Why can I not?
That's good.
The overall core cash plays, TJ, for tonight. Let's hear on 4 to 5.
So my overall cash plays tonight, Matt, if I'm going 4 to 5, it's going to be Vooch, it's going to be Jaylen Brown, and John Wall. 3 guys that I'm like, probably 3 of the highest ownerships on the slate, so I do like them. Honestly, I think my next would probably be Dame at 9,800.
Really? Okay. Don't hate it.
I do like Duncan Robinson as a cheap play at 4,500, but honestly, guys, I'm going to be monitoring that Orlando situation, and if Cole Anthony is out, then Frank Mason, I would assume, gets the start, and he would be a lock at 4K for me.
All right, my cash locks are going to be Vucevic, John Wall. Jeremy Grant, I think, is a good lock.
Love that. Oh, God.
And then I'll settle with Jaylen Brown. I think he's a very obvious play tonight. Those are all very relatively expensive guys. So, yeah, you're going to have to pay down somewhere, and you guys already know what I'm going to say. Korkmaz is in the picture. Danny Green's in the picture. Maxi's even in the picture. I'd say get your value, guys. Yep. Make sure you are saving a lot of your lineups for that Orlando value, because then that Danny Green value goes out the window. I automatically love Orlando a lot more if those guys are held out. All right. And that's my take on the slate, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the live stream. If you did, please do hit that subscribe button, notification bell, of course, smash that like button. With all that being said, have a great rest of your night, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Let's cash.
Love you guys. Good luck.